There is one thing Google successfully does every single year is have people be divisive on which of their new phones to get. On one hand, we have the smaller Pixel 8, a cheaper price, a smaller form factor, but it is not the best in terms of software and hardware. Then there is this, the Pixel 8 Pro that has all those things, but there is just something that makes this phone not exactly desirable to a lot of people. In this video, I want to talk about the Pixel 8 Pro, what I loved, what you should know before buying this phone, and maybe, just maybe, I give you guys a different perspective. Let's go. One thing I have to give credit to Google for is making small incremental changes to their designs to give the Pixels a fresh look. The 8 Pro's matte finish was a great change. It went from having a glass back to a soft finish, making this one of the most comfortable phones to hold without a case. And it isn't just the matte finish. The corners are slightly rounded with an almost flat display, which helps with hand fatigue while holding the phone. It's not exactly the heaviest phone, nor is it the lightest phone at the same time, but the 217 grams strikes a nice balance for the average consumer. And speaking of incremental changes, the camera bar at the back is slightly different, and after a few months, I think this is a better design. There are only two issues I have with this design, and for one, the camera bar has or will get you a lot of dust or fluff along the way, so if it bothers you a lot, you will need to clean your phone consistently. The second thing is, the camera bar is metallic or aluminum instead of a matte finish on the smaller Pixel 8. This is just 5 months in and there are a ton of scratches, and I'm hoping this changes with the Pixel 9 or the Pixel 9 Pro. And at the bottom is a USB-C port and stereo speakers, which are some of the best at this price point, and there aren't a lot of things that Google did wrong with this design. If I had to nitpick any further, I wish they reduced the bezels just a little bit, especially around the chin, but as a whole, I think this design is pretty good. The display is one of the biggest upgrades if you compare the Pixel 7 Pro to the Pixel 8 Pro. The brightness has been upgraded massively from 1500 nits on the Pixel 7 Pro to 2400 nits on the Pixel 8 Pro. So the visibility issues that I had when going outside with the Pixel 7 Pro has been completely fixed. And also fixed is adaptive brightness. It instantly responds to darkness or extreme brightness from the sun, and I think is pretty intuitive. Now the animation on the 8 Pro is smooth as ever. I have not noticed any lags in my day-to-day use, and in the last 5 months, it's been pretty consistent. The only time I noticed any considerable lag is when the display has been reduced to 60 Hz, and most people just do that to save battery life, but apart from that, this is probably one of the smoothest Android phones on the market. Ultimately, by 2024 standards, the display is pretty awesome, and most won't run into any issues. Now, what you might find iffy or disappointing is the fingerprint scanner. It's not exactly the worst I've ever used, but it does contribute to minor annoyances. With the Pixel 6 Pro or the Pixel 7 Pro, we could give it a pass, but 3 years down the line, I think it is time for Google to put an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner in the Pixel 9 Pro. It just makes the experience worthwhile. Plus, the fact that this shines a very bright light each time you use it, especially at night, is more reasons for Google to do something about it. If you're still watching, a like and a sub to this video will be appreciated. We are so close to 20,000 subs, so thank you for your support. It does mean a lot. If we're talking about the software experience and how it performs, it is hard to not talk about AI. Something Google is currently the pioneer in my opinion. Now we can talk about Tensor and how it isn't great, but I actually have to give credit again to Google for wanting to create their own ecosystem, their own chipset that makes their phones run the way they want it to. Because I'm not gonna lie, if we're talking about scrolling, the animations, opening apps, amongst other things, it has been pretty good with my experience. RAM management works just fine, apps respond on time, and mobile gaming or the mobile gaming experience is satisfactory. When people say the Pixels lag, I wonder if it's just commentary or they have actually spent time with this phone. However, if you want to go beyond those things that I just mentioned, which are also important, then there are a few key areas where you begin to notice the limitations of Tensor. While circuit to search is great, it does take a few seconds for results to pop up. Magic Editor is not exactly the fastest thing when you're making any changes to your pictures. Best Take is still controversial to say the least. Then there is picture processing that takes a few more seconds with each shot, and these bring down the qualities of Tensor down a notch. While offering 7 years of software updates is pretty awesome, how future-proof is Tensor? How will performance be in the next 3 to 4 or even the next 7 years like Google is promising? We don't really know, but we can only hope that the Pixel 8 Pro stands the test of time. Which begs the question, should Google go back to Snapdragon or should they continue this journey? Let me know down in the comments. Battery life on the Pixel 8 Pro will last you through the day. It is a one-day phone after all for most people. There are periods where I wish the battery was more optimized for longer battery life, like commuting with 5G for example. The battery life does not do well with 5G, so my advice is just use LTE. I mean, 5G isn't all that anyway. Either way, it will give you 7 hours, maybe 8 hours, which is decent for the amount of features within this phone. Alright, cameras. The Pixel 8 Pro has seen huge upgrades this year. The main wide-angle sensor is still 50 megapixels, but it allows 21% more light. The telephoto lens is 48 megapixels that allows 56% more light. And finally, the ultra-wide has a new 48 megapixel lens that allows 105% more light. These are great upgrades to an already great camera system. Till this day, I believe the Pixels are the best cameras to take pictures with, especially if you're a person of color. Real tone is a real feature that I absolutely love, and it is ever present with each picture you take. This helps me get my exact skin tone that I'm looking for, so I can easily just point and shoot and I not have to worry about how I look. It goes without saying that the Pixel phones are the easiest to use in any settings. At night or during the day, you don't really need to think about your angles or sometimes even lighting conditions because the image processing software does most of the work, even though sometimes it overcompensates by sharpening some of your images. Video on the Pixel 8 Pro has been upgraded slightly, especially if there is a lot of light. Where it begins to lose its quality though is when the sun sets. I mean, it's not bad, but you begin to notice a lot of grain with each video. However, Video Boost does help the quality to a considerable degree. I don't use it much, but it is a nice to have. I think everyone's issue with the Pixel 8 Pro is the price and how there isn't much of a huge differentiating factor between this and the smaller Pixel 8s. Now, apart from having a bigger battery or a bigger display, an extra camera lens, or even a temperature sensor which nobody really uses, there isn't a lot going on to justify the $999 price tag. If we compare what Samsung does with their flagships, there is a stark difference between the S24 Ultra and the regular S24. It is like night and day. Nevertheless, this is a great phone, and if those factors are important to you, you have no regrets. Thank you guys for watching this video. What are your thoughts on the Pixel 8 Pro? Comment down below and let me know. And make sure you like and subscribe to the channel as this helps me go a long way. We are so close to 20,000 subscribers. My name is KJOS, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.